jump into another deep dive. Today, we're heading over to North London to the home of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
Oh, Tottenham.
And it's going to be about more than just the goals and tactics.
More than the game itself.
Yeah, we're talking about fan discontent and ownership battles and all that, and what it means for the future of this,
Right.
historic club.
Yeah, this is really interesting. I think this situation with Tottenham kind of reflects something that's happening at clubs all over the world.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like a changing relationship between fans, owners, and kind of the soul of a football club.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit.
Yep.
Our source material is an article from The Standard.
Okay.
And it dives into these recent fan protests against the chairman, Daniel Levy, and the ENIC ownership group.
Right.
Now, ENI is an investment company, and they've been the controlling shareholder at Tottenham for over 20 years.
And that's really important, right? Because the length of their ownership is central to a lot of the frustration.
Yeah.
This isn't just like a reaction to a bad season. It's been building.
Right. So imagine this. Thousands of Spurs fans, a lot of them season ticket holders, marching down Tottenham High Road.
Wow.
Banners, chants. These protests were organized by a group called Change for Tottenham,
Okay.
and they were determined to make their voices heard.
It sounds very organized. That's interesting.
Yeah, and they did it in a way that really got attention. The article talks about how they strategically started on Tottenham High Road to kind of scoop up all the fans walking from Seven Sisters Station,
That's smart.
amplified their numbers, made it impossible to ignore.
Yeah, they weren't messing around.
I'm picturing this sea of supporters now.
I know.
It must have been quite a sight. The article really describes this feeling of unity.
Okay.
The fans emphasized respect, avoided any abusive chanting.
Oh, it's good.
This wasn't just a mob scene.
Right.
It was a calculated message.
Exactly. And that's a key takeaway here. These fans were organized,
Yeah.
strategic, and they wanted to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
And I love this. One banner summed it all up. 24 years, 16 managers, one trophy, time for change.
Woof. That's got to sting a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're not a Tottenham supporter, you see that statistic, it says a lot.
24 years, 16 managers, and only one trophy.
Wow.
It kind of begs the question, what's going on at Tottenham?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
And to understand it, you have to look past just wins and losses.
Okay.
This wasn't just about a bad season. It was more about a deeper frustration,
Right.
a sense that the club hasn't lived up to its potential.
And this isn't even the first time this discontent has kind of boiled over.
No.
The article mentions some previous protests, too, against the proposed move to Stratford a few years back.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember that. That was controversial.
The club considered moving away from their historic home, which really upset a lot of fans who felt it would kind of sever the club's connection to its roots.
Yeah, of course.
And then there was that whole European Super League debacle,
Oh, yeah.
where Tottenham signed up for that breakaway league that totally collapsed amidst huge fan backlash.
Right. They all backed out.
This pattern of protests shows that this isn't just, a few disgruntled fans.
Right.
It's this widespread feeling that something needs to change.
Yeah, they're trying to tell them something.
So where does Daniel Levy, the chairman, fit into all of this? He seems to be the main target of the fans' frustration.
Yeah, he's definitely in the hot seat. It seems like there are kind of different opinions about his leadership.
Oh, okay.
Some fans want him gone.
Right.
They blame him for the lack of trophies, lack of ambition, but some think he's a really shrewd businessman who has actually done a lot for the club.
Oh, okay.
The new stadium, consistent Champions League qualifications.
So it's not just black and white. Right.
Not at all. It's a very complex situation, and honestly, that makes this even more interesting to me.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no clear-cut good guy or bad guy here, and that's why I'm excited to dive into this.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it feels like a real clash of philosophies, right? Yeah. You have the fans who want the trophies, and then you have the ownership maybe focus more on the financial side of things.
Mm-hmm.
So can these protests really bring about any actual change?
Well, it's hard to say. It's unlikely Levy is going to suddenly just throw his hands up and say, okay, you win.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is how many people were there.
Yeah.
It's not just a few people complaining. This is thousands of fans.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of pressure, especially when it gets so much media attention.
Yeah, everyone's talking about this.
Exactly.
And it kind of puts Levy in a tough spot.
For sure.
He can't just ignore it.
No.
And the article mentions Change for Tottenham is planning more events. So this could gain even more momentum.
It's like a ripple effect.
Yeah.
The bigger it gets, the harder it is to ignore.
Right, and this is where it gets really interesting, right? This isn't just about Tottenham's current form on the pitch.
No, you're right.
Even if they start winning games, some of these fundamental issues are still there.
Yeah, it's kind of like putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
And this tension between short-term results and this longer-term vision, a lot of clubs are dealing with this.
Right, so if we kind of zoom out a little bit, what's happening at Tottenham is almost like a smaller version of this bigger issue in football. It's like this battle between the money side of the game and the fans.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. On one side, you have the reality of modern football.
Right.
Clubs need to make money, be smart with their budgets, make the right investments.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you have these fans who are, emotionally invested in the club.
Yeah, for sure.
They want to see their team win trophies.
Of course, yeah.
They want to compete at the highest level.
Right.
And it can often feel like the business side is kind of squeezing out that passion,
Right. So this begs the question, can a club really serve both?
Okay, so how do we even start to answer that? Is there a way to balance those two things?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And, I don't think there's one simple answer.
Yeah.
Every club is different, but what we can say is the fans at Tottenham are making their voices heard, and they're forcing this conversation that needs to happen.
Yeah, it's like they're saying, hey, we're not just customers.
Right.
We're stakeholders in this club. Our opinions matter.
And that's a powerful message, not just for Tottenham, but for clubs all over.
Yeah, it feels like we're seeing this real turning point, this change in the power dynamic between clubs and their fans. And it'll be interesting to see where this goes.
It will be interesting to see what happens. And this isn't just about Tottenham,
Right.
What happens here could impact other clubs.
Yeah.
If fans can actually create change at a club like Tottenham, it could inspire others to also demand more of a voice.
So is Tottenham at a crossroads then?
I think they are.
Yeah.
And what they decide to do next will have big consequences.
Okay.
Will they listen to the fans and prioritize success, even if it means more risk?
Right.
Or will they stick with financial stability, even if it means, upsetting the fans even more?
Tough choices.
But it goes beyond just, the wins and losses.
Right.
It's about identity, what it means to be a fan.
Yeah, you're right. When you take away all the money stuff,
Yeah.
football is about passion, community, and that connection between the club and the fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's that connection that makes these protests so powerful. It's more than just wanting to see your team win. It's about, feeling connected to something bigger.
Right. It's almost like an identity thing.
Yeah, and when fans feel like that's being threatened, they're going to push back.
Of course.
And in this case, they're pushing back with these banners and these chants and organized protests. So can they actually force real change, though?
Well, the money in football is huge these days.
Yeah, it's big business.
But here's the thing. The fans are the lifeblood of any club.
Yeah. Okay.
They're the ones filling the stadiums, buying the merch.
Creating the atmosphere.
Exactly. And without them, it all falls apart.
So they maybe have more power than they realize.
Absolutely. And I think what's happening at Tottenham proves that.
Yeah.
It's a real wake-up call for clubs all over.
Okay.
The fans are more organized now,
Right.
more vocal, and they want a seat at the table.
Not just to be told what to do.
Yeah, they want to be part of the decision-making.
So what's the big takeaway here? What do you want fans to be thinking about after listening to this?
Well, I think it's important to think about what it really means to be a supporter, especially in this era of, these mega-rich owners, these global brands. Can fans actually influence the direction of their clubs? Or will it always just be about the money?
Wow. Yeah, big questions.
No easy answers, but one thing's for sure.
What's that?
The situation at Tottenham shows us that things are changing.
Yeah, that relationship between a club and its fans.
Exactly, and it's a story that's not over yet. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
It will. One thing is for sure, though. That passion, the loyalty of football fans, that's still a powerful force.
And it always will be.
Yeah, well said. All right, well, that's all the time we have for this deep dive, but we'll leave you to ponder those questions.
Keep thinking about it.
Yeah, and keep exploring the world of football. Until next time.